Today's the day. No longer will I operate the same way I've been operating the last 2-3 years. I'm too good for that. I've learned too much. I've came too far. Welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery on a special time. And I want to thank you for joining me today. Go ahead and check in, please, as you're coming on board. And thank you again for being here with me. And yesterday I just couldn't make it in here to be able to give you what's been building up in my mind. Something that's been really weighing on me, and not necessarily weighing. It's just the sense of appreciation, right? That if you do the right things every day, you will get the right results. And the beautiful thing about the environment here at AZ and Associates is that it's never on my promise, right? My promise that I will make you successful. It's never on my promise that I will do it for you. It's always in that sense of power that if you do the right things, you will get the results that you ultimately want. It's never that false promise, never the shiny object. I tell many of you, it's all about the hard work. And you see our top producers telling you the same thing. And those that maybe haven't been or created everything that they wanted are bouncing back faster and creating real solutions to their problems. And it goes far beyond just real estate in general. It goes beyond just trying to fulfill our bank account. It's about empowering ourselves and seeing a more powerful you, a more powerful me, right? And I love the fact that I'm seeing so many people push themselves out of that box, out of their comfort zone in order to achieve what they ultimately want. And it's a sense of fulfillment. I think that's all, we all look for that, to feel happy, to feel, purpose-driven, to feel like things are going our way. But with that, we have to understand there's always got to be that flip side to it, because success always comes attached to its buddy, right? Which is obstacles. It always comes attached to its buddy, which is problems and issues and so many other things that success, because it's so bright, a lot of us don't see what it's attached to. It's holding its hand. So when you want these great big things, just understand that it comes attached with all the other things that most people won't talk about. And every successful person out there, that's why I appreciate them so much, because I know what it took to get there. Every fit person out there, and I was just thinking that this morning. I was like, why? Like, what? It just takes so much to feel so good, right? It's not like I can get up and just feel good. I can't eat whatever I want and just automatically feel good. It takes a lot of hard work to feel good, just like it takes a lot of hard work to build a successful business, to be in a loving and beautiful relationship. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of patience, a lot of solution-based thought processes. And it's all within us, because the problems that we have before us is something that we've created through our own decisions. And if we're pushing the envelope of wanting something greater, understand that, this is not the only path that's going to be held before us. The path of, if you want something greater, will always come with more to overcome. And one of the things that I started reading this morning is just a little, as I took on this challenge, and I'm going to let you in a little something here. Over the last 27 days, I ended up taking on an additional challenge. And this is in addition to the Do the Work challenge. And it was to write up. Okay, it was a write-up challenge where I was going to go every day and improve my communication skills when it comes to the written format. Okay? Not just creating videos, not just, putting things out there to record, but in a written format. And for me, that's always been a tough place, right? To put my thoughts in a written format. But over the years, I've gotten better because I've learned how to journal. I've learned how to really, communicate my thoughts on paper. And one of the things that I put on before me is like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a 30-day challenge of writing something up every day. And I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but it's something that I've embarked on, and it's taken many hours. It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be, because here I can go on and just be able to speak what I'm feeling. But when you're trying to put the words onto a written format, it just makes it a little bit tougher. But I started thinking about why I did that, right? Is it to make things tougher on myself? Yeah. Because I understand that if you add resistance to anything in your life, you will come out on the other side with stronger, with more capacity. So today is day number 27 of a 30-day challenge that I put before myself. And it's something that when I commit to something, it's going to get done. But it only came on the conditioning side of doing what's required, right? Something that we've described here in the 12-week target book. That there is a pattern, that there is, that success is pretty blatant about its approach. It's blatant on how it's going to provide you the results you want. It's not the type of thing where you could come in sometimes and miss it another day. It's where you have to be consistent every day. And this conditioning process, a lot of people, it's so simple, they disregard it. And they start looking and seeking answers that will never be available to them because they're unwilling to do the things that will provide them the light to see those solutions. And it reminds me of this passage in the Bible. It says, "Ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be open for you." And I start looking at what each phrase means. And when it says ask and it shall be given, when I think about ask, it's about asking better questions. If we don't have what we want, we have to ask those better questions, right? Because perspective will be given to you. An awareness will be given to you. I remember, and this is something that I haven't put out there, but I'm just going to lean in with it. 4 or 5 years ago, I went into this neighborhood, and it was a beautiful neighborhood in a very, upscale area. And it was a foreclosure property. And I drive into this home because we still run a lot of foreclosure properties for our clients. And I drive up to this home and I look at this neighborhood, very affluent neighborhood, very secluded neighborhood. And I look and I'm like, how is it possible for someone to live here? I started asking better questions, right? I didn't say they're so lucky to live here and just acknowledging that I will never be capable of. In fact, I just started asking better questions and I started envisioning myself of what it would feel like to drive up in a neighborhood just like that. But this is the type of home that is stuck in my mind for a long time because when I went there, it was just something about this specific neighborhood. And it's only an enclave of about 5 homes in a little gated community. But I asked better questions. I said, how does someone do that? Not, I will never get here. And I think we're too stuck in that type of mindset where we think it's okay for somebody else to achieve the things that we want and then disregard what we're capable of creating. Oh, that's good for them. That's a beautiful house. That's a nice car. That's a great marriage. They're so fit. When you just simply acknowledge it, it doesn't do anything for you to go and achieve it. But when we acknowledge and we ask the right questions, we're planting a seed in our minds. We're planting a seed of a real possibility if we work towards it. So I sat there and I visited that home so many times. And I've told you that story of how I got my current home, right? We lost out on it. We lost it to another potential buyer. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. But something within me told me this fight wasn't done. And every day I would visit this home. I would sneak into the gated community I live in now and just park at the neighbor's house looking straight into the house I currently live in. And I said, this is my home. There's no way I lost this. This is after a contract's been executed. This is still 20 days into escrow. I'm still going there every single day because I saw my family in that home. I saw my girls playing in the backyard. I saw Carla working out in the RV garage, which we transformed into a gym. I saw myself swimming in the pool. I saw myself walking through the home. There is no possibility this is not my home. And I stood there. And I energetically saw myself there. I envisioned myself there. So even though there were 20 days already into escrow after we lost it originally, every day I would sneak into this neighborhood. I was that creepy guy, right, in the car. But I saw myself there. And lo and behold, 3 days before it was supposed to close, the deal falls through. And I was right there prepared to pick it up because I didn't give up on my ambitions. And here's the reality. 30 days prior, I wasn't financially set to be able to make that purchase. It would have stretched me out to the core. It worked out the way it was supposed to. It was supposed to be a 60-day escrow for me, not a 30-day escrow, a 60-day escrow. Getting a little riled up here. Got my coffee all over my computer. It was supposed to be a 60-day escrow. So, I know what I'm capable of if I just ask the right questions, right? And I start seeking. So the next one is seek. I start looking for the opportunities. I start looking for the solutions. Perspective is asking the right question. Then goes to seek. Seek and you shall find. And I was looking for solutions. Same thing for this house. This other house. 5 years ago, I sold a house in this neighborhood, and I asked myself a very important question. How do people get here? What would it take for me to live here? What moves would I need to make? How much capacity would I need to build? How much greater do I need to become? Well, it turns out I wasn't ready for that type of responsibility a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was meant to happen 2 months ago. It was meant to happen when I built the capacity to handle that type of responsibility. When I am able to impact others to a point where money does not become a distinguishing factor of my success. I had to see myself there. But it started with asking, right? Asking better questions and then seeking solutions, not just acknowledging that somebody else just has it better. They're luckier. They come from wealthy families. I don't come from a wealthy family. I don't. I come from a hard-working, lower middle class, poor when I was first born type of family. So a lot of these perspectives are very new to me. Like I didn't know a lot of successful people growing up. It's all very new to me. And the only way I became aware of it is because I started asking better questions. Then I went out to seek better answers, better solutions. And the last part of this says, knock and it shall be open for you. When I hear the word knock, it is an action that we must take. We just can't sit there and just ask those questions. We cannot just sit there and acknowledge that somebody else just has a better situation than we do. Thank you so much. We just can't do those things. Ask, seek, knock. Take the action. Go back and go to your original ask. How did it happen? If you do the right things, it will all come together in the future. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before your vision and your work ethic will marry up with each other, will meet up with each other. The problem is they're so far apart sometimes that we think it's not going to happen. So for years, I had this neighborhood in my mind. For years, I started following up to see what was going on there. As a matter of fact, the home that we ended up selling as a foreclosure, because I was in no position to buy it myself, zero. No chance. The down payment required for it, way out of my league. There's absolutely no way. But I kept working, hard work. And I'm not afraid to tell you this. Some people may paint a little bit different. That it doesn't have to be this hard to get what you want. I'm going to tell you something. It's all BS. I know real players in this game, and they're not looking for comfort. They're not looking to relax. They're not looking to take 3 months vacations. They understand that that is the first step to the digression of your progression. If anybody paints that picture for you, I want you to look a little deeper. I want you to listen in a little more carefully. They might be selling you on BS. So it wasn't available to me during those times. A year and a half ago, we decided we wanted to upgrade our home. And we looked, and something told me it wasn't the right time yet. We needed to reinvest into the business first and foremost. I needed to build better systems, better processes. I needed to become a better leader. So we stopped that search. We put our personal ambitions on the back burner. And we said, we're going right back in to pouring our heart and soul to everyone else. We want to be able to see others rise through this time, through these uncertain times. We're going to put everything on the back burner personally so we can empower others at a high level so we could all come up, right? So part of that strategy was to get into this building. One of the biggest investments at that time to make. Scary. But again, just like the house I'm telling you about, is asking better questions. This came to my head when I went to go visit Gary Vee in New York in 2018, December of 2018. It's been on my mind for a while. But as I walked through his office, I'm like, wow, this may not be at the 60th floor in the middle of Manhattan, but you know what? I too want to be able to walk into an office I'm absolutely proud of. And I want every agent that walks through the doors of any location of A's and Associates to get the same feeling. So what did I do? I asked better questions. How can I do that too? Not, oh my God, Gary Vee is so talented, even though that did cross my mind. That dude is talented. But I didn't just sit there. I seeked solutions. I went looking for solutions. And then I knocked my butt off. I took the action, right? Ask, seek, knock. And I did that over and over and over and over again. Ask, seek, knock. Ask, seek, knock. And here we are. And I thought it was going to be 2-3 years before we can go after our own personal ambitions. But you know what? The universe, God, the work, faith, brings things faster than we can ever imagine. Sometimes it's not comprehensible. It's not. It's one of these things where it's outside of our control because we've built that momentum so large that it's hard to process how the outcomes can come so abundantly. It's hard sometimes to understand that. So I was in no position a year ago to make this type of move. But I asked, I seeked, and I knocked. 3 months ago, we saw another house in that same exact neighborhood. And as soon as I walked in, as soon as my family walked in, we knew that was the one. That property is literally 2 houses down from the house that I sold in the same exact neighborhood. 2 houses down from the one that I sold, that I envisioned myself, that I stared into the neighborhood, that I looked at the hillside. As soon as I walked in, we knew that was our home. We still didn't know if it was possible. It was way out of a price range that I would ever thought I would buy. but because I asked the right questions. I did the right things. It all became the next logical step. Isn't that amazing? How something that is so far out just becomes the next logical step. And it's because it was a series of thousands and thousands and thousands of reps. Thousands and thousands of hours of hard committed work. And sometimes it may feel like what you want is so far away. But there's got to be this faith within us that if you do the right things each and every day, you're one step closer, and sometimes 10. And sometimes you're there. And now this has opened up another level of perspective for me. Like, what else am I capable of achieving? It's not because I want something bigger to show off or to say, well, look what I have. It's just challenging my capacity. Like, what else can I build? What else can I show my kids what we're capable of doing? And this is a conversation I have often with my girls. I remind them that this can all be taken away. That life can be taken away. But I'm not just going to sit back comfortably waiting for it to take me. If it does, I'll be working very hard towards the things that make me feel satisfied, which is having it all, which is working on all aspects of my life. And I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told this gentleman that interviewed me 7 years ago about what processes I do, what things do I do to make me successful in the game of business and real estate. And it's the same thing I'll tell you right now. It is a deposit into yourself first and foremost, to push your limitations physically, to make those sacrifices from the temptations. I ran into that gentleman about a year ago. Our lives are completely on opposite sides of the scale. I stuck to the very thing he questioned. He's all, wait. So you're telling me, out of all the things you can do, you're telling me go up and take care of yourself first and foremost? That's what will get you this type of success? I looked him right in the eye. I said, absolutely. He didn't believe it. He disregarded it. And back then, I couldn't showcase this level of success. Was I successful in my own right? Yeah, sure. I think we all are. But when we keep working for it, harder, smarter, with bigger perspectives, it dwarfs it years later. The type of success I had 7 years ago, it's dwarfed. Absolutely dwarfed by my performance. Because I'm conditioned every day to operate at this level. Every day I'm getting better. And as I look at all those that have joined me today, every one of you is better today than you were 6 months ago. No question in my mind. Head and shoulders of who you were a year ago. Unrecognizable from the person you were 5 years ago. And I'm going to let you in a little secret. You keep doing the right things, life gets unbelievable. It's like you become this ninja. You can see things happening before they actually occur, like the Matrix of some sort. Trust me on this. I will never lead you down the wrong path. Have a lot of deep sense of appreciation of your journey, but continue to open up your eyes to bigger perspectives. It's not about comfort. It's not about just simply paying off your house. It's not about simply just, being in a comfortable position. I make these moves so I can get up with a sense of purpose. Like, I just can't take it easy. Why are we seeking that comfort? Because it was embedded in us at a young age? How about we take those risks? How about you find out what you're really made of? The only way to do that is to stretch yourself. I remained in the same home for 10 years. I didn't realize that that same home was restricting me. So you see, I become someone different during that time frame. But emotionally, I was stuck there. Our marriage was stuck there. All the bad memories, all the bad energy was stuck in that home. And it would not allow us to grow. It seemed like a rebirth at the moment we sold it and moved into our current home. And it's going to be a rebirth again as we move up to the next one. But these are the type of moves we all need to make. We need to have that faith in ourselves, that trust in ourselves. Hiring that employee, have the faith that you can pull it off, that you can achieve it, that you can show up consistently to make sure that your end is covered. Or you can hold yourself back again, like I was in a home I lived for 10 years. Or you can decide today's the day. No longer will I operate the same way I've been operating the last 2-3 years. I'm too good for that. I've learned too much. I've came too far. And it's a decision. And it's asking those better questions, seeking better solutions, and going out there and taking the action so you can achieve it. I'm going to go ahead and end this with something that I wrote up just a few days ago. And I was triggered because, someone posted on my timeline that it's not about the hard work, AZ. It's not about the hard work. I took 3 months vacation. It's not about the hard work. And I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, what makes you think that your interpretation of success is the same as mine? What makes you think that is something, that comfort is something that I'm looking for? I would drive myself mad. I would go insane. That's just me. I'm not wired that way. You'll run into people that try to paint a beautiful and easy picture for you. They'll say things like, you too can achieve what I have. Things don't have to be that hard. I fully understand that I don't have to work this hard. But then what? That type of mindset has made me content and smug with my own achievements in the past. I soon suffered the consequences of taking my foot off the pedal for not fully appreciating what I had. I will never put myself or my family in that dark place again. I'm no dummy. I learn from my mistakes. Taking my ease is not part of my strategy. I make moves in alignment with my convictions. I don't want it easy. My physique didn't come from the promise of 5-minute abs or only working out a couple days a week. It comes from the hard work every day. My marriage didn't come from half-assing it. I'm committed AF. My successful business didn't come from only working a few hours a week, the 4-hour work week. It was built on facing difficulties and overcoming them. I'm all in. For me, anything less than hard work makes me feel like I'm taking life for granted. That is a dangerous place to be. What is there to look forward to if you're content? Why get up early? Why take care of yourself? Why fight for your marriage? I don't want comfort. I get bored in comfort, and I make bad decisions when I'm bored. Seek the hard work. Choose the narrow path. So the next time someone says to you, you don't have to work that hard, just smile. They have no idea you're not looking for their shiny object. You're polishing your own. And as you observe their life just through their promise, you'll soon realize that maybe, just maybe, they should consider working a little harder themselves. But hey, what do I know? So again, thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. And thank you for all those that joined me and said good morning. I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration to go after your aspirations. Inspiration for your aspirations, right? And you have it all within you. Preparation meets opportunity. The preparation is the asking. Absolutely. I don't like writing. Yes, I took on that challenge, and I would invite you to do the same. 30 days. Put that challenge on yourself. Guys, thank you again for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day, Thank you for joining us for this episode of Badass Agents Podcast, brought to you by AZ & Associates and Do the Work Coaching and Consulting. You can watch this and other episodes by subscribing to our channel on YouTube or by visiting us directly at badassagents.com. And of course, you can listen to this episode and many others on your preferred podcast provider.